Dragons, giants, sea monsters, and creatures hiding in the mountains. For thousands of years, humans have passed down stories about beasts so terrifying they seemed impossible. But here's the strange part. Some of them may have been based on real creatures that once walked, swam, and hunted on Earth. Ancient people didn't have science, museums, or fossil records. So when they found massive bones, strange skulls, or came face to face with animals they couldn't explain, legends were born. Today, we're uncovering 5 mythical creatures that really existed. Some were bigger than modern predators, some looked like monsters from fantasy, and number 1 might make you wonder what is still hiding beneath the ocean. The Kraken. For hundreds of years, sailors told stories about a monster so huge it could destroy entire ships. They said it lived deep under the ocean, waiting in the darkness until a boat passed above it. Then, without warning, giant tentacles would rise from the water, wrap around the ship, and pull it straight down into the sea. To most people, the Kraken sounded impossible. A creature that big couldn't be real, right? But here's the strange part. The legend may have come from a real animal. Deep in the ocean lives the giant squid, one of the most mysterious creatures on Earth. It has enormous eyes, a long body, and tentacles covered in powerful suckers. Some can grow longer than a bus, but for centuries, humans almost never saw them alive. They live too deep, in a world of darkness where sunlight never reaches. So how did ancient sailors know about them? Because sometimes, giant squid bodies washed up on shore. Other times, fishermen found huge tentacles floating in the water. And whales, especially sperm whales, were discovered with massive circular scars across their skin, left behind from battles with these deep-sea predators. So maybe the Kraken wasn't just a legend. Maybe it was a real deep-sea creature, twisted by fear, darkness, and stories passed from sailor to sailor. And the scariest part is, the giant squid is real. The unicorn. When you hear the word unicorn, you probably think of a beautiful white horse with a glowing horn, running through enchanted forests. But the real story behind unicorns is much darker, much older, and way less magical. For thousands of years, people told stories about a powerful, one-horned creature. Some described it as impossible to catch. Others believed its horn had healing powers. And over time, the unicorn became one of the most famous mythical animals in history. But what if the legend didn't start with a horse? During the Ice Age, a massive beast called Elaesmetherium roamed across Eurasia. It was basically a giant prehistoric rhinoceros covered in thick fur built like a tank and believed to have carried one huge horn on its head. And this thing was enormous. It could weigh several tons, stand taller than a person, and survive in freezing grasslands where early humans also lived. So imagine a group of ancient hunters seeing this creature from a distance. A giant animal, one horn, moving through the snow like something from another world. They wouldn't call it a rhino, they would call it a unicorn. But unlike the unicorns in fairy tales, this animal wasn't gentle, sparkling, or magical. It was a real Ice Age giant, powerful enough to scare almost anything around it. So what happened to it? Scientists believe climate change may have destroyed the grasslands it depended on. As the world changed, this massive one-horned beast slowly disappeared. So maybe unicorns were never magical horses at all. Maybe they were the last memory of a real prehistoric monster humans once saw, before it vanished forever. The griffin. Imagine a creature with the body of a lion, the wings of an eagle, razor-sharp claws, and a beak strong enough to tear through flesh. That was the griffin, one of the most feared creatures in ancient legends. People believed griffins guarded hidden treasure, protected gold, and attacked anyone who got too close. In some stories, they lived in remote mountains and deserts, far away from humans, which made them feel even more mysterious. But even though the creature sounds impossible, the idea may have come from something real. In the deserts of Central Asia, fossils of a dinosaur called Protoceratops have been found. It walked on 4 legs, had a powerful beak, and a strange skull unlike anything ancient people would have recognized. So imagine walking through a dry wasteland thousands of years ago and finding bones from a creature with 4 legs and a bird-like face. You wouldn't know it was a dinosaur. You might think it was a monster. But here's the twist. Scientists today are not fully convinced that these fossils really created the griffin legend. Another possibility is that people simply combined two of the most powerful animals they knew: the lion, king of the land, and the eagle, ruler of the sky. So maybe the griffin was not one real animal. Maybe it was built from real fear, real bones, and real predators humans already knew were dangerous. The mermaid. Imagine sailing across the ocean for weeks, exhausted, hungry, and surrounded by nothing but endless water. Then suddenly, near the surface, you see a strange creature rise from the waves. It has a human-like shape, smooth skin, and what looks like a tail disappearing beneath the water. That was enough for sailors to believe they had seen a mermaid. In legends, mermaids were mysterious half-human, half-fish creatures. Some were beautiful and magical. Others were dangerous, singing to sailors and leading ships toward disaster. But even though mermaids sound impossible, the idea may have come from real animals. The most likely explanation is manatees and dugongs. These slow-moving sea mammals live in warm coastal waters, and from far away, especially through fog, waves, or poor light, they can look strangely human. But here's the strange part. Sailors were not always calm observers. Long voyages could make people tired, sick, and desperate to see land. So one quick glimpse of a strange sea animal could easily turn into a story about a human-like creature hiding beneath the waves. The bloop. In 1997, deep in the Pacific Ocean, underwater microphones recorded a sound so loud, so strange, and so powerful that it traveled across thousands of kilometers of ocean. Scientists called it the bloop. At first, no one knew what made it. It was low, massive, and almost organic, like something alive was moving in the darkness. And that's what made people nervous, because the sound was louder than anything a known sea animal could make. Not even a blue whale, the biggest animal on Earth, seemed big enough to explain it. So people started asking the terrifying question, what if something larger was hiding down there? For years, the bloop became one of the ocean's creepiest mysteries. Some imagined a giant, unknown creature. Others connected it to sea monster legends, deep sea beasts, or something ancient that humans were never meant to find. But scientists later found a more logical explanation. They believed the bloop was probably an ice quake, the sound of huge Antarctic ice cracking, shifting, and breaking apart underwater. And to be fair, that explanation makes sense. But what do you think? Does the bloop exist, or is it just a myth? Leave a comment and don't forget to like and subscribe to not miss out on future videos about myths.